The World Bank has released the Nigeria Development Update Report, stating that over 129 million Nigerians are currently trapped in poverty. It released the report in Abuja as headline inflation rises, forcing millions of Nigerians into hunger. According to the global financial body, the over 129 million Nigerians represented a sharp rise from 40.1% in 2018 to 56% in 2024. Since 2018, the share of Nigerians living below the national poverty line is estimated to have risen sharply from 40.1% to 56%. According to the report, there was an increase from 150 million in 2023 to 129 million in 2024, which means that 14 million Nigerians have become poorer this year. The Washington-based bank attributed the surge to inflation, poor economic management, and external shock. And to discuss this further, I'm joined by Inyabong Essen, Head Research and Policy Advisor, Budget. Inyabong, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. So how do you think the Nigerian government can reverse the trend of rising poverty and achieve macroeconomic stability, especially considering the recent reforms and their impact on household and firms?
I mean, this question has many answers, as you know, but I'll pick it apart a bit within the time frame that we have. As you know, I mean, with the World Bank report, it says, the leading cause of poverty as it is that not only do you not have enough people employed or in their employment, but it's also that the persons who are employed are not employed in productive jobs, meaning that even though you have people working, they are earning very minimal wages that, is not sufficient enough to cater to their lifestyle. And so what you have is general increase in the prices of goods and services with very stagnant income. And so what it means is the government has to tackle inflation head on. If you look at the NBS statistics, with the last release on the headline inflation, and you see what contributes to the basket of inflation, you see that food is very high on the agenda. And, you go to the markets with the price of a bag of rice now going for almost 120,000 naira for the long grain. You look at the price of other staple commodities, and you see that this is completely out of the reach, of the ordinary man. If you look at also the price of energy, as the case may be, PMS, virtually everybody in the country at the moment, depends on that product for survival, whether it's for transportation, whether it's for powering their small businesses. This is a product that we have come to rely on. And with the price of the commodity now going for over 1,000 naira, the operating cost of small businesses have increased, leading them to also increase the cost of the goods and services that they offer. And you see that persons who would often consume these commodities have drastically reduced the consumption, of course, which has contributed to a decline in productivity generally. And so that's one area that I think that we need to really look into. I know that over the medium to long term, it's important that that very expensive petroleum subsidy that we have funded inefficiently for a very long time needs to go. But then just taking it out like that without, providing palliative to pushing the effect of that removal is one area where government has not done, pretty well. If you look at the other factor as well that contributes also to pricing, which is the exchange rate, in that we're an import-dependent economy, the exchange rate at 1.6 has also driven the price of a lot of commodities and services. That's one area too that needs a lot of stability. And as you know, the exchange rate is largely dependent on what you have in your reserves. And for us to be able to grow our reserves, we have to be export-oriented. What's happening in that sector? There's very little that Nigeria exports with regards to non-oil exports. A large chunk of what we export is petroleum. For non-oil, whether it's with regards to agricultural products, whether it's regards to services, there's still a lot with regards to...
You just touched on a bit there. Inyabong, now you just touched on something very critical here when you talked about agriculture, and I'll come to that in a bit. But the World Bank just reportedly told that we need productive jobs. Now, this might fall on the private sector, but those jobs are not even available. What other option is there for Nigeria to help create jobs? Would it be agriculture? I ask.
So I would take it away from agriculture a bit, because for prospects, we see that services, manufacturing are where there's a real tendency to, really create productive jobs. And, those jobs will be able to pay wages to help people afford, the cost of living as the case may be. Agriculture, as you know, over, the past period, without value addition, has not been one sector that has provided living wages for persons, active in that sector. So I'd like the focus to be on manufacturing services. And with manufacturing, of course, with a number of manufacturing firms that have closed over the last couple of months, or the last 2 years, as the case may be, as a result of a number of issues. These are areas that government needs to look at. So if you look at manufacturing, access to infrastructure for one, look at power. Over the last 3 days, the national grid has collapsed twice. I mean, from this morning, there has been no power almost across the length and breadth of the Federation, meaning that a lot of these manufacturing firms that depend on the grid will have to go off grid and purchase diesel at very high cost. This has a significant impact on their bottom line, and then the cost of goods and services that they would provide at the end of the day. If you look at access to raw material as well, we have not been able to also grow other sectors. If you look at the steel sector, for instance, you look at the Jakarta steel industry, successive governments have not been able to revive that industry. They have not also been able to concession it for us to be able to maximize the gains of that sector so that they can provide adequate raw material for manufacturing to thrive. If you look at taxation also, for instance, that's also one area where the manufacturing firms complain a lot, that there's a lot that, that they lose to multiple taxation. But one of the good things that this government has done is to set up that presidential fiscal and tax reform committee that has made very good proposals to, help the manufacturing sector, whether it's with regards to reduction in CIT from 30% to 25%, whether it's with regards to the VAT reforms and the sort of import for firms to be able to get input credit and all of that. But if you look at other kinds of infrastructure that sector depends on, I mean, roads is one big thing. That's one area too where government has fallen short. Okay. The roads are extremely bad. If you are going to be transporting goods from whether it's Jigawa in the north, or you are transporting goods from anywhere in the middle belt with regards to agricultural products, the cost of transportation has been greatly increased because of the roads. If the trucks are not breaking down due to bad roads, there are goods that are getting spoiled with regards to perishable goods. So road infrastructure is one area as well that needs to prioritize, so that from farm to market, there's that ease of transportation for goods.
All right, Iniobong. You took my third question and you answered it regarding policies and processes by the government. But thank you very much, Iniobong, for spending your time here and giving your views on the matter.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and have a lovely afternoon.
You too. Thank you.